How I turned my family from smart home skeptics to enthusiasts, smart home tips and hacks. Have you ever felt like your smart home was more of a headache than a help? I certainly did. My family was less than thrilled with my smart home automations, often finding them to complicate our daily lives rather than simplify them. But after some trial and error, I discovered the secret to winning them over: personalized automations that catered to each family member's needs. Now, we all enjoy the benefits of our smart home together. Let me take you on a journey through my smart home adventures, filled with ups and downs, and how I finally got my family on board. When everything is running smoothly, my smart home feels like a scene from a sci-fi movie. But let's be real, those moments are few and far between. Between my constant tinkering and the occasional power outage, things often go awry. For a long time, my family was frustrated with the very technology one thought would make our lives easier. Instead of marveling at the wonders of automation, they were left scratching their heads and wondering why the lights wouldn't turn on. It all started with my first smart device, a simple smart light bulb. Before I knew it, I was deep into the world of smart tech, even building my own voice assistant using an Xbox Kinect sensor. I was so excited to show off my creation to my wife, thinking she'd be amazed by the voice-controlled lights. But when I finally revealed it, her reaction was less than enthusiastic. Instead of awe, I got a look that said, "Is this really what you've been spending hours on?" Ouch. The truth is, my smart home decisions were causing more chaos than convenience. While I reveled in the ability to control lights with my voice, my wife was frustrated that flipping the switch didn't work anymore. Smart bulbs need power to be controlled, so when I turned them off with my voice, the switch remained on. When she tried to turn on the lights, she was actually turning them off, leaving her in the dark. Not exactly the smart home experience I envisioned. And let's not forget my homemade voice assistant. It was far from perfect. Sometimes it wouldn't recognize commands, and other times, it required an exact phrase to work. Instead of simplifying our lives, my automations were creating confusion and frustration. The constant tinkering was both a blessing and a curse. Sure, it was fun to create new automations, but it also meant that things could break at any moment. My family often found themselves asking, "Why did the lights go out again?" or dealing with unexpected wake-up calls from a rogue smart bulb. It was hard to get them excited about the smart home when it felt like a game of chance. After yet another frustrating incident, I realized I needed to change my approach. I was having a blast experimenting with my smart home, but my family was only experiencing the downsides. They weren't invested in my projects, and I needed to change that. I decided to involve them in the process and create automations that would genuinely benefit each family member. I started brainstorming ideas tailored to their needs. For my son, who couldn't yet tell time, I set up an automation that turned his room light blue in the morning, signaling it was time to wake up. It was dim enough not to disturb him if he was still asleep, but bright enough for him to know when it was okay to get up. For my daughter, who loved reading at night, I created an automation triggered by a smart button by her bed. When she finished her book, she could press the button, and her relaxing music would start while the light slowly dimmed. No more getting out of her cozy bed to turn off the light. And for my wife, who often felt ignored amidst my tech tinkering, I built an automation that sent a critical alert to my phone whenever she needed my attention. Now, I never miss her messages, and she feels heard. Once I implemented these personalized automations, my family began to see the value in my smart home efforts. They were no longer just passive observers, they were active participants in shaping our home. We started brainstorming ideas together, and it was exciting to see their suggestions come to life. Of course, my smart home isn't perfect. There are still hiccups and moments when things don't work as planned. But now, when something goes wrong, my family is more understanding. They know I'm experimenting and that they might just see one of their ideas in action soon. We've become a team, working together to build a smart home that truly works for everyone. So, if you're struggling to get your family on board with your smart home, consider involving them in the process. Create automations that cater to their needs, and watch as they transform from skeptics to enthusiastic supporters. Together, you can create a smart home that everyone can enjoy.